Ever wondered how a Hollywood actor turned into the 40th President of the United States? Well, let's take a stroll down memory lane. Ronald Reagan, born and raised in Illinois, began his career not in the world of politics, but in the glitz and glamour of Hollywood. A sports announcer turned actor, he featured in over 50 films, charming America with his charisma and wit. But Reagan's story doesn't stop there. His journey to the White House was a gradual one, marked by a series of significant shifts. In the late 1940s, Reagan was a staunch Democrat and served as the president of the Screen Actors Guild. He was deeply involved in rooting out suspected communists from Hollywood during the Red Scare. As the years rolled on, though, Reagan's political leanings began to sway. The 1960s saw Reagan's political compass point firmly towards the right. He believed that government was not the solution to our problems, government was the problem. This philosophy resonated with many Americans, leading to his successful run for governor of California in 1966. His tenure as governor was marked by a strong stance on law and order, a crackdown on student protests, and a commitment to fiscal conservatism. Reagan's popularity soared, and he began to be seen as a potential contender for the highest office in the land. However, his first attempt to clinch the Republican nomination for president in 1976 was unsuccessful. But Reagan was not one to be easily deterred. He remained in the political limelight, honing his message and building a coalition of conservatives hungry for change. By the time the 1980 elections rolled around, Reagan was ready. With his charm, his conservative philosophy, and his promise to restore American greatness, he won over the hearts of the American people. The stage was set for Reagan to make his mark on the national stage. Now let's explore the campaign that led Reagan to the presidency. The year was 1980, and Ronald Reagan, a charismatic former Hollywood actor and governor of California, was the Republican Party's nominee for the presidency. His campaign was marked by his magnetic personality that drew people in, and his strong, unwavering stance against communism, which resonated deeply with a country still in the grips of the Cold War. Reagan's promise of an economic revival was the cornerstone of his campaign. The United States was in the midst of an economic downturn, with high inflation and unemployment rates. Reagan promised to turn this around with his economic strategy, famously known as Reaganomics. This approach advocated for lower taxes, decreased government spending, and deregulation of the economy to stimulate economic growth. His vision of a prosperous America was a beacon of hope for many. One of the most memorable moments of Reagan's campaign was during his only debate with President Jimmy Carter. It was here that he posed a question that would become one of the most famous lines in American political history. He looked into the camera and asked the American people, "Are you better off than you were 4 years ago?" This question resonated with the voters who felt that their situation had not improved under Carter's administration. His campaign was not without controversy. Some critics were skeptical of his economic plan, questioning whether it would indeed lead to the prosperity he promised. Others were concerned about his lack of experience in foreign policy. Despite these criticisms, Reagan's charisma, his promise of economic revival, and his strong stance against communism appealed to a wide swath of the American public. The campaign was a success, and on November 4, 1980, Ronald Reagan won the election by a landslide, securing 489 electoral votes to Carter's 49. He won 44 states and received over 50% of the popular vote. And so Ronald Reagan was elected as the 40th President of the United States. Reagan's presidency was marked by significant events and policies, from surviving an assassination attempt to implementing Reaganomics. In the early days of his presidency, on March 30, 1981, a shocking event unfolded. A man named John Hinckley Jr. attempted to assassinate President Reagan right outside a Washington, D.C. hotel. The bullet narrowly missed the president's heart, but Reagan, ever the fighter, recovered swiftly. This incident undoubtedly cast a long shadow on his presidency and served to fortify his resolve to lead the nation. Now let's turn our attention to one of the most defining aspects of Reagan's presidential term, Reaganomics. This economic policy was a blend of several measures aimed at stimulating the American economy. It was rooted in the belief in limited government intervention, reduced control on the market, lower taxes, and a containment of inflation. The cornerstone of Reaganomics was a significant cut in federal income tax rates. This move was based on the theory of supply-side economics, which posits that reducing tax rates boosts economic growth by encouraging people to work, save, and invest more. Reagan also aimed to reduce government spending, though in practice this proved more challenging. The military budget in fact increased during his tenure due to the ongoing Cold War. However, expenditure on social programs faced significant cuts, stirring controversy and debate. Reaganomics also saw a reduction in the regulation of the economy. It was a shift from the previous era's policies, and it had a transformative impact on the American economic landscape. The effects of Reaganomics are still hotly debated. Critics argue that it led to increased income inequality, while proponents claim it set the stage for an economic boom in the late 80s. What's undeniable, however, is the profound impact these policies had on shaping the American economy and the discourse around it. Reagan's policies had a profound impact on America, but his presidency was far from over. Reagan's second term was as eventful as his first. Let's dive right in. The 41st President of the United States, Ronald Reagan, was inaugurated for his second term on January 20th, 1985. His second term was marked by significant events that shaped not only the United States, but also the world. One such event was the Iran-Contra affair, a political scandal that rocked the nation in the mid-80s. The Reagan administration was accused of secretly selling arms to Iran, which was under an arms embargo, and using the proceeds to fund Contra rebels in Nicaragua. This controversy cast a shadow over the Reagan administration, leading to investigations and the conviction of several high-profile officials. But Reagan's second term wasn't all scandal and controversy. In fact, one of his most famous moments came in 1987 during a speech in West Berlin. Reagan stood before the Brandenburg Gate, a symbol of the divided world, and delivered his iconic "Tear Down This Wall" speech. This powerful call to Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev challenged the very symbol of the Cold War, the Berlin Wall, and resonated around the globe. Reagan's firm stance against the Soviet Union, coupled with increased defense spending, put significant pressure on the Soviet economy. This pressure, along with internal reform and resistance movements, led to the eventual dissolution of the Soviet Union. While it's a complex issue with many contributing factors, Reagan's policies and actions undeniably played a role in ending the Cold War. Reagan's second term also saw economic growth, with the country rebounding from a recession. His policies, often referred to as Reaganomics, focused on tax cuts, deregulation, and reduction of government spending. These measures led to an economic boom, but also increased the national debt and income inequality. After 8 years in office, Reagan's impact on America and the world was undeniable. His presidency was marked by controversy and triumph, and his legacy continues to influence American politics and policy today. After leaving the White House, Reagan's influence did not wane. Instead, it flourished, and his conservative ideologies continued to shape the American political landscape. His departure from office, however, was not the end of his journey. He faced a new adversary, not in the political arena but within his own body: Alzheimer's disease. In November of 1994, Reagan revealed to the world that he had been diagnosed with this cruel and relentless disease. Despite the progressive nature of Alzheimer's, Reagan's spirit remained unbroken. He faced the challenge with grace, courage, and an enduring sense of humor. His letter to the American people, revealing his diagnosis, was a testament to his character, demonstrating his unwavering optimism and resilience. Beyond his personal battles, Reagan's legacy continued to grow. His political philosophy, often referred to as Reaganomics, centered around limited government, lower taxes, and free market capitalism. This philosophy is still a cornerstone of the Republican Party's platform today. His unyielding faith in the American dream and his belief in the inherent goodness of the American people continue to resonate within the hearts and minds of many. Reagan's impact on American conservatism was profound. His vision of a shining city on a hill encapsulated his belief in America as a beacon of hope, freedom, and opportunity. He reinvigorated the Republican Party, firmly establishing it as the party of conservative principles. His iconic status within the party is undisputed. He is revered as a champion of conservatism, a leader who stood firm in his convictions, and a president who left an indelible mark on the nation. Reagan's post-presidency years were filled with both personal trials and enduring influence. Despite the challenges he faced, his legacy lives on. His principles continue to shape modern American conservatism, and his spirit continues to inspire. From Hollywood to the White House, Reagan's journey was nothing short of extraordinary. So, what can we learn from Reagan's presidency? From his rise to power, rooted in his charismatic appeal and conservative values, to his time in the White House, Ronald Reagan left a significant mark on American history. He emerged from a successful Hollywood career and a two-term governorship of California to become the 40th President of the United States. His presidency was marked by notable events and policies, including surviving an assassination attempt, the Reaganomics, and his role in ending the Cold War. But his influence didn't stop when he left office. Reagan's belief in small government and fiscal conservatism continues to shape American politics, making him a revered figure among many conservatives. His journey from actor to governor to president and the legacy he left behind offer a fascinating glimpse into American political history. If you found this journey through Reagan's life and presidency enlightening, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to join our community of history enthusiasts.